Hello and a warm welcome. I am Sarah Chor, your presenter for the one-on-one exclusive here on Generation Next, a youth movement platform geared towards inspiring, motivating, and directing young people's participation towards responsibilities in the developing society. We are working to raise awareness on issues and challenges the youth are faced with in order to effect a positive change. It is therefore against this background that we are always here, or I would like to say instead, we are here every fortnight to continue the motivation, to continue the inspiration. Yes, so today I have a young, vibrant agro, if you like, agro fish farmer all the way in Sierra Leone. And I am really thrilled to actually begin the conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, before further ado, I will quickly give a brief bio of who she is before we have a say hello to you, my beautiful audience. Yes, I have Miss Aminata Fatma Kandeh. She is a young African Mandela Washington Fellow. She represented her country in different leadership and entrepreneurship programs. Ms. Aminata is the founder and director of Agro Fish Farm Company, the first Sierra Leonean-owned aquaculture fish farming company in Sierra Leone, and founder of Women in Action Against Malnutrition, a non-profit that aims to improve access to food and nutrition to women on goals. She studied in one of the top 5 agricultural schools in the USA as the only lady from Sierra Leone thus far cohort to do professional development experience at the Aquaculture Institution at Idaho University at Idaho, USA. Recently, she was among the grand winners of the Tony Elulemu Foundation Entrepreneurship Program. Aminata holds a degree in aquaculture and fisheries management from Nyala University and a certificate in responsible aquaculture for economic development from Wageningen University, Netherlands. I would have Aminata to rectify me on that. Her company has trained over 1,000 youths and women and provided over 5,000 fish to over 200 households in Southern region and beyond. Aminata, it's a pleasure to actually have you here all the way in Gambia on Generation Next.
Okay. This is my blowing, so I'm happy to be on your show and kind of something that's really, really important that we need. And Gambia we are kind of a community, a family, because your sister is your first lady of Sierra Leone. So we are family already to Gambia, and I have a lot of friends of Gambia. So I'm happy to be on the show and just share some of my experience and kind of tell young people out there that it's okay, but you should find yourself in the midst of all the chaos. We should find ourselves. So I'm happy to do this, and I will share my honest and my sincere challenges I face and some of the success. And as I always said, I'm still work in progress. I have lots to learn. So I have a lot to learn to go. So for me, I'm always work in progress. So yeah.
Obviously, yes, we are a work in progress, and hopefully with the effort that we are putting in, we'll surely get there. And yes, so we are sisters, like sisters from another mother.
Yeah.
So basically, at Generation Next, like I mentioned earlier, our main objective is actually to redirect the focus of young people to be able for them to take charge of their own future. But I always say to every glaring that you are seeing today has a story to tell. So basically, Generation Next, what we try to do is we try to understand that path, how everything began, all the way to where you are now. So basically, I would be thrilled, or my audience would be humbled to know, if you can remember from your childhood, perhaps your school, your high school days, what can you remember? What kind of a student were you then?
Well, I would not say like what everybody say. I was not like that super smart kid.
Right.
I was not. So I was an average. At least I ensured to pass my exam, right?
Right.
But one thing was clear, and is only now I try to reflect. One thing was clear when coming up. I was one person that I don't like to be dependent. So that one thing was very, very clear from my childhood. Like that's why with me, I'm not very, very close with a lot of my parents, being my mother, father, relatives, because I always have this passion, like I have to stay where I am, because if I go to your house, you have to feed me, you have to give me food, you have to so for me, from childhood, like I was very, very dependent in little way I can. So for me, it's kind of just something that you can trigger. So me being an entrepreneur, like now I start to reflect, because entrepreneur was not part of my journey, to be sincere, was not part of my journey. But once it was clear, obviously I like food. When coming up, I like food. So I know myself very well. I like food. And when I was a kid, I'll wake up in the midnight and we eat food, right? And my mother, the only way that she would tell me, he will not give me food. So I'll behave. So I'll behave. So that's the key thing. Like I was not that super smart kid. I can say that I'm a super smart kid, but I was like always trying to like do my best in school and also try to be my best whatever I can do. But once it was clear, I was very, very independent kids. I don't like depending on people to do stuff for me, right? So that was some of the traits when I was a kid that has now translated into what I'm doing, because like nobody never knew about entrepreneur. Like it's only like, especially in Africa, right? And in the US, probably it's possible for you to know about entrepreneurship at a very young age. But in Africa, especially West Africa, entrepreneurship have not taken more than 2 decades.
Right. Right.
So by then, like you can't say like I wanted to become an entrepreneur. No, that anybody that will say that like you were just like, except yeah, probably you have the trait, because like my mother was trying to sell everything to bring up us, like to sell, but like you really don't understand that like it's an entrepreneurship your mother is doing. All you know, my mother is trying to like ensure and smith for us. So it was really different trade and for us to be able to take care of ourselves, right? When we are a family as well. So basically, that was just some of the things I would say about my when I was child and stuff like that.
Yeah, obviously, I believe it makes sense because also as a woman, so it's really difficult to actually think in that light. But you've mentioned that you felt, or you were the independent kid back in school days, and I am of the belief that whatever translates to you, it's how you were brought up. Perhaps your mother, because you've mentioned your mother was selling and all that. Was it that because your mother was an independent lady, or were you brought up in that fashion?
I will say my mother, because my mother is a strong woman. That's I can tell anybody. I can tell everybody out there. Yeah, because okay, my mother has this. Probably I have a trait of her. So I've seen my mother, because by even now, like her salary was very small, but he was trying to do different things to ensure that he's able to cater for us, pay our school fees. So like we never pay by term. My mother normally pay for the whole year. When school resume, we'll give it the money, you go and pay for the whole year. My mother would never pay, say, okay, go, let me pay for one term, then I'll pay the other term. My mother never did that, right? So yeah, my mother is my hero, because for her, he believed that everybody should be able to do something. So my mother vision and my mother goal and his inspiration of anybody that she keeps in her house, you should be able to do something. If you are a school going to somebody, he will insist you go to school. But if you're somebody that is matured, he will emphasize you learn a skill. Or better still, he will teach you how to like do business. Up to now, my mother still do business, but not like the level I'm doing it. So my mother still do business. Yeah, my mother still do business. But I understand he can't, because there are so many things. The world is changing, technology and everything. But I got that from my mother, definitely, because I grew up seeing my mother doing everything to ensure that we become who we are today.
Wow. Thumbs up to mommy. Thumbs up to mommy. Yeah, so basically, I also put my focus so much on the educational system. You've mentioned that although you were not that exuberant child back in school days, but how would you categorize yourself? What kept you going? Because perhaps someone else would say, okay, my mother was struggling to make sure that our school fees were paid. someone else somewhere would say, okay, why not I drop out of school and perhaps help my mother in whatever business that she's engaged in. So what would you say kept you going to school? And if so, what were some of the that is, if you engage yourself in any extracurriculum activities back in school days, what were some of those things, if there were?
Okay, so my mother always have this vision, and my mother believe in education, even though she does not have like the higher level of education, but my mother believe in education. So for her, she would never encourage you to drop out of school and join in a business, because she believes education is the only asset that she can give you. Right. So going to school, my mother will literally check our books. Like my mother checked my book from junior 1 to up to junior 4, 5, right? Up to senior school. So we'll check your book to know if you go to school. So you have to write it.
Fantastic.
But yeah, if you don't write your dates on your book, meaning you did not go to school. Even if you show her the notes. Right, exactly. My mother was like, so my mother believed in education so much that he said, you know what, I'm willing to make all the sacrifice for you people so you can go to school. Right. So for me, so dropping out of school was not a choice, obviously. My mother would prefer said, it's okay, I know you are going through this, but you have to ensure that you do well in school. You have to ensure that you pass your exam, and you have to ensure that you always ensure that you stay in school. So that's the only thing I can give you. My mother usually said is like, I don't have a house, I don't have a gold, I don't have a diamond. The only thing I'm giving you people is education. That's the only asset and the tool I'm giving you. So if you can use it well, it will take you places. And she was really, really right about that. Because of education, I've been to places like she have never been in her whole life. So for me, my mother was like the foundation for everything I do, right? Although we have we'll quarrel, but like my mother, we always say, like, no matter what, don't take your education careless. Always pay attention to education. That's the only thing that will motivate you. Then also you have to say, like, you need to be smart. You need to be a very observant somebody. So my mother is smart. Like, she does not have because she's a nurse, but like she does not have BSc, but like my mother is very, very, she can adapt. She's very smart. So you always say, like, having education knowledge is not enough for you. You should have common sense and know how to able to navigate through the world. So you should be smart. So that some things you don't learn in school, you learn it for yourself. So you need to be observed. You see what's going on in the environment, so you can really able to take action. So for me, she did a good job.
Wow, obviously. Bravo to mom. Of course, this has gone to show that it's important that we have parent support, because your mother was there,
exactly.
And she stood her ground. She fought to make sure that at least you don't only acquire the education system, but also you were smart in your way of thinking and all that, which is really great. Comes to mom. Cheer out to her. So would you say you've engaged yourself back in school days in any sort of extracurricular activities? Can you remember any?
No, yeah, sure, I did. So when I was in school, okay, my primary school I used to run, even up to university I run. But like my mother was scared to a point, like, okay, probably not scared, but the commitment it come with. So like, for example, I did not join band in school. My mother did not really encourage it that much to join so many other extra school activities, because he has the fear that like you will draw your attention, and that's really the common one for most African mothers, right? I can understand with that. If your kids or your daughter or your son is involved in extracurricular school activities and you are not able there to really caution them to know that you have to pay attention to your school while you are doing this. And the situation we find ourselves in Africa, in Europe, you can be a basketball and you still be able to do it, right? Because the teachers has the time, the system have it. But imagine me maybe in a football or maybe a basketball player, then I have to leave to go and play for competition. I'm not in class. And I'll miss out. In Europe, you will miss totally out, because probably the teacher will do extracurricular activity for you. The teacher will try for you to get material and stuff like that. Before then, it was not common. Now, I'm sure it's getting better. Now you'll be able to balance that. Maybe the students, the school or the teacher have the materials that we can get access to. But during the days from, let me say, the 90s, 99 to like the 2000, like if you don't go to class, you don't have the information, you don't have you miss that that lessons already. So my mother was like, you know what, like you're in school, stay in school, left those to do this what they want to do, right? So like I was not so much involved into extracurricular activities in school. The only thing, like, yeah, basic things, but like not fully, like some will join gas guys, some would do brass bands, some like concerts. Yeah, in primary school, I was like a little bit of having concern because like I was smart a little bit. Yes. So yeah, so in secondary school, like I was popular, people know me and stuff like that. So my mother was like, okay, let's give her a chance. But like in secondary school, no. Like you need to be focused. In primary school, yes, I was doing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's important. It's important. Thank you so much for sharing that part of you. Now, of course, you did not even think of entrepreneurship, coming up with your own business. Now,
No.
Okay, tell us first of all, because I believe every child would tell you, okay, when I graduate from school, I want to be this, I want to be that. So what did you want to be then?
Okay. So for me, like I always wanted to be farmer because I was very small. I started like listening, like, okay, I'll listen to radio, I'll have like the richest people are farmers and stuff like that, right? So yeah, coming up, I was like, okay, I would like to be farming. So like, in fact, although I was not fully involved in farming activities because my mother did not really actually do a lot of farming activity, right? So I did farming activity for just very, very, very little when I was like 8, 9, 10. Then after that, we moved to the city. So like I wasn't able to do that. So for me, when I was coming up, really, my mother was thinking of becoming a nurse or a doctor, a medical doctor. That was a dream. But like because I can't withstand the sight of blood, and also I don't like, I can't withstand the sight of blood. Like it irritates me. Then basically, so that was like, like I can't really do that because I can't really stand the sight of all those things, right? So coming up for like in Africa, like you can't really pinpoint because they can't really pinpoint like this, right? But one thing was clear, like I like farming. That was really clear. I like farming, right? So that was really, really clear coming up because I like food, so I like farming.
Wow, beautiful. I'm not sure many of us would say that, although people like myself, we find ourselves saying, grow what you eat and eat what you grow. But I can do the farming bit, but it's really important. Right. So now now you've graduated. Now when you graduated, what next? What next happened before you got into the farming business?
Okay, fine. So, okay, let me just explain. Like, I did not enter university to study fish farming. That was not the deal. I went to study agriculture. But like, because of practicals, I was like, I can't do practical because I was kind of, I was scared of like the grass, the weed will like kind of irritates me. It will like spoil my skin. I was like, you know what, like I'm not doing this because like they'll be putting us for practicals, go to the field, grow corn and stuff. I said, no, I'm not made up for this. So I decided to change. Little did I know that it was almost the same. So so I changed when I was in level 2, second year. I said like, okay, I'm going to do fish farming. But by then it was new. So people like the school wanted more students to come to their school. So I went there. And my dream was to work with FAO, like, okay, with my colleague, were like, okay, after college, you are going to work with FAO, who have big money. Like always my money I call to people. It's not small money. So people know me for that. Like anybody that know me, like when I call money, they're like, he said, what's your problem? That's not plenty money. So for me, I was like, I want to work at FAO, make big money. That was the dream after university. But like guy has like after university. But like I took another path because it did not happen. But I'm still in the same sector. So and the other thing again, I notice of late of me, like I know how to network. Yeah. So that's one thing is now I reflect how it have really helped me. So because I know how to network, even before university, I got a job, which is to volunteer. I was writing my thesis, my dissertation, then I was still working, right? So because like my colleague in school, we are friends, and the boyfriend was working with with restless development. He said, okay, guys, you can apply. So yeah, we apply, we go for the training. that's the way it happened, right? So in fact, I've never worked with FAO directly. I've never worked in the office. Never. But like they know what I do. So like I'm trying to like how I can really, really work with them directly, maybe in terms of other projects, but I've never worked with them directly. But that was my dream, to work with FAO, because like I say, FAO is like more food, agriculture, food security and stuff like that. So after university, I volunteered for like 6 months in the provinces. I came back, Ebola struck. So like, Ebola struck. I have to like stay, look around for like 1 year, 2 years. Then I start working again with the Ministry of Education. So like work with them to see how we can create awareness about Ebola and see how to ensure that people maintain sanitation, awareness, how to prevent, and how to like do some basic things for us to really reduce the high rates death to Ebola. So I worked with that place for 1 year. But because like, I don't know, because like for me, I always tell people, because I know how to talk to people, and for me, I value people. So in university, I have that saying, if you're not friend, I can't make you enemy, right? So that was so if we are not friend, I can't make you enemy, right? Maybe I might not talk to you, but like I will not say anything that will linger in your mind forever, right? So after working at the Ministry of Education, so some people came to do fish farming in Sierra Leone. That was the first time like they were here in Sierra Leone, like after the Ebola, like 2016, 2017, they were in Sierra Leone to really revive fish farming. So I was invited by my supervisor back in university to come for the program. And because I know how to talk to people, I talked to the Malaysia people that was in charge. I talked to them, okay, I study fish farming and stuff. I said, okay, fine, Aminata, we can get back to you. So I think after 1 year after operating, they called me. I worked with them as a research assistant. And that was the starting point of me trying to reflect. But before I get to that point, having a mentor is really important. And I never asked for mentor, but somebody voluntarily mentored me. So when I was working at the Ministry of Education, there was this man who was our direct boss. His name is Mr. Ambrose. I don't know, because he grew up in the US. So for him, he was one of the person that made me understand that you should motivate people. He always believed in us, like, because we are very young people working day by day. So he'll tell you can do this. Even something he knows you cannot do, he will say you can do it. So like it was like really motivating us, and he was doing some program outside work to ensure that we really build our confidence, build our everything, like just to develop ourselves, right? So he was doing program where he would bring people from all walks of life, they will talk, and then he put us by group, like you are in charge to organize this month. So like you see how you can really manage, organize program. So like he was the first person that like told me, do you know, like this course is taught, like you can do fish farming. I was like, what are you saying? Like it was the first person that mentioned it to me, right? And also another colleague also who has been working with some Catholic mission, like he has been traveling different parts of the country, of the world. So it was saying like, there's this thing they call fish farming. You can really grow the fish. I was like, okay, so no problem. I was like, okay, I've had you guys, let me go and see. So it was like, I don't know how they call it, the law of attraction. People say that. So when I happened to like go for that workshop that was organized by World Fish Center through my university, I was able to like connect the dots with them. So I worked with them for 1 year. So working with them was like a training ground for me in the area of practicals, right? So there's one thing we really have to change in Africa. I'm sure that country are really moving towards that direction. You need to see and feel what you read so that you can understand, right? So when I was in university, like I never have an opportunity to do practicals. So I only have theory all in my head. And I realized that when it comes to theory and practical, trust me, they are two different things. I want to tell you that. Yeah, so when I was working with Wildfish, I was able to really get a training ground in terms of the practicals. I learned a lot from them, right? So, but when I was working with them, I was observing the communities, how people were living, and now access to fish was even ourselves when we are working by then. Like for us to have fish in the market is a little bit challenging because like I have to like relocate to the rural community because that's where our job location was. So when I was working with Wallfish, this is the time I started to like nurture the ideas. I was like, okay, let me see how this goes, right? And see how it goes. So I started thinking of my business idea. So anyway, the law of attraction, it happened. That's for sure. So when I was working in Wallfish, I met a friend. He's a white lady. He come to he was an intern. So like she was the one that helped me like to put my ideas together. And she was like, okay, Aminata, you can do this. We put everything together, the business plan, the name and everything. So but before then, we also put an application together, which was the Yali. So we have Yali is a two parts of it. We have the regional, which is the RIC Ghana. Then you have the one that is the Mandela Washington that you go to the US, right? So the application was out because I got to know this when I go to Kenya. So my first time of travel is 2014. I went to Kenya to represent my school because I was the first that ever score 300 and above in our national primary school. So like I was just to represent my primary school. So I went there because I talk to people, I like to connect to network. So a lady mentioned Yali to me when I was in Kenya. So when I came back, I started to do research. So I decided to give it a try. So put the application together. By then, my business was an idea, right? I've like nothing was really concrete about them. But my trip to Ghana give me the energy and give me the assurance, like you'd have to do this. Like it was confirmed to me, like you have to do this because the training was leadership and leadership under different sector. They have the civic, they have the policies there, they have the entrepreneurship, right? So because like I wanted to become an entrepreneur, so I choose the entrepreneur area. So yeah, so I was able to really get a clear and a concrete view that like I have to do this because I see a lot of young people in Ghana back then doing so much. You see somebody that is very young would say like, I have a company. I was like, what I'm doing, right? What I'm doing. So when I came back, like I came with my full chest. I was like, you know what, you have to do this. Start and see whatever happened, you will learn, right? So me reflecting back now, I started by then, like I don't have no business idea. No business idea. The only skill I have is the technical how to grow my fish. And that's the only idea I have there. And that time entrepreneurship was still new in Sierra Leone. It's only few hubs we are doing entrepreneurship training. Not like now, like we have a lot of people doing entrepreneurship everywhere, right? So for me, so when I came back from Ghana 2017, then I say, no, like, let me give this a shot. But I was saving for that when I was working in Wallfish. I was saving. Yeah.
Wow, brilliant. Yeah. So therefore, it means the fact that you traveled helped to redefine that business idea that you had into practicalizing it, which is fantastic.
Exactly.
Beautiful. Yeah, sure. Beautiful. So far, what would you say you had to compromise to actually get to where you are? What are some of the things you had to
compromise, right? So for me, first about me, like for me, I don't live on people's terms. Like I don't care. That's the one positive about me, right? So for me, I don't care if say like, okay, don't talk to me. Like, okay, especially when like it does not really matter, right? So I do a lot of compromise when it comes to family, right? Like family, I can compromise. So certain things I can compromise with my family. But what I have to compromise for now, like I've compromised a lot, like my social life. I've compromised it a lot. So like I have a lot of friends like tell me like, you're too bored to be around. Like you don't go out, you don't go club. I was like, hey, what's wrong with you, right? So for me, I have a lot of male friends. Like they say like, you are too, like everything is planned. I was like, yes, because for me, my vision is not, I always tell people I want to become a billionaire. That's no joke about it. I want to. So I'm on that journey, right? So anything that will slow me down or that will distract me, I'm not in for it. Right. So I'm that kind of person. Right. So I have to compromise. Like I don't have a lot of friends. So my two close friends are in the US. Okay. So like I don't have like very, very close friend in Sierra Leone. No. Like not very, very close friend, right? And because of at times, you know, when you talk to people, for me, I feel when you're not on the same level, it's kind of really hard to really keep company with those people, right? And some people will think that you are proud some people don't understand, like the journey you find yourself is not easy. So
Right.
nobody tell you lie. If you want to take the journey of entrepreneurship, trust me, it's a lonely journey. It's stressful. You cry. Nobody, you have losses. And in fact, in Africa, it's double stress because you don't have system. You don't have money. To have a very good team is very, very stressful. So for you to be thinking all this, and then people that do not understand will say like, guy, you are doing this. So for me, I compromise when necessary at times, but I don't kind of let people think that I owe them, right? I don't owe you. You don't owe me. Right. So that's why for me, I don't ask people for something. What I mean, ask, like I hardly ask for financial help from anybody. Especially if I've not known you for like more than 2-3 years, I won't ask you. Because you know why? The person will feel like you are just there to like ask them for money. So for me, when it comes to networking, all my mentors, I've never requested money for my mentors. I will ask them for information. I will ask them to edit for me an application. I'll ask them to look at my business plan. I will ask them to connect me with other people. But me asking directly, that's one thing to young people. Let me just emphasize on this. The one thing people really don't like, it's able to happen to me right now. It's very irritating. People ask me, can you help me with my school fee? I was like, just like that. Listen, people send me message. Right. You understand, right? So and it's kind of I don't know how people think, right? So asking for financial favor from people make them feel like all you care about them is their money. True. So as any young person out there, never ask your mentor for financial favors, right? Right. For me, that's I can't cross that line. I will ask you for different things. I will ask you for something pertaining my business or something. Okay, I'll bring an idea that will bring money. I'll ask you for money. Right. Because that's the one thing that spoils relationship. Especially some people will go to some mentor thinking that the mentor should give them money. No, guy, don't work that way. Right. Your mentor is not, and also your mentor is not there to babysit you. Your mentor will guide you. It's up to you to take. And to mentor somebody, it takes a lot of sacrifice. A lot of sacrifice for somebody to sit down and try to like guide you. So me, for all my mentors, they just direct me. Like I have a lot of mentors, by the way, because for me, I've seen mentorship is one of the things that will help any young person that wants to grow. But you just have to be very professional about it, right? Very professional about their time, about their boundaries. You don't expect to call your mentor at midnight. Right. Who does that, right? If your mentor say 10 o'clock, if you are not there 10, text like, sorry, I can't make it, right? So you really have to like have that courtesy and understanding, because the world is crazy. Everybody has his own issue he or she is dealing with. Right. We just don't say it out there. Like everybody has something that is dealing. So for them to sacrifice their time, so okay, fine, come, let's talk. You really have to value it. Obviously. So yeah, for me, mentorship is one thing. Any young person that really wants to like make it in life, have a mentor and build your network. They might not give you physical money. They like open so many doors to you, and networking is one thing people really don't know that is a very powerful tool, right? And some people don't know how to network with people as well, right? But it's all skills you can learn. So for me, the first thing, be self-taught. So teach yourself, right? There are so many, like right now we have what we call information paralysis. There's so much information out there. All it needs to do is to filter them and take what suits you. Right. So you don't expect your mentor to come and like, I was struggling with keeping my books. So I have a mentor, like he told me, Aminata, go to Google, use Google Meet to track your stuff. I have to go to, it took me a week. I went to YouTube. I have to study it, craft what I want. Then I send it to her. I said, okay, you can now use this. Then you can graduate. So when people direct you, take your time and invest in yourself. Some people don't want to invest in themselves, but they want people to do that. Like, it don't work that way. Yeah, so the first thing I'll tell anybody out there, invest in yourself. Invest in yourself in a way that when somebody sees you, he has the energy
Yeah.
He has the zeal to invest in you. But trust me, if you don't invest in yourself, you don't expect people to invest in you.
Right.
So that's the first thing, invest in yourself. You see some ladies will have iPhone Pro Max, and he does not have money to take a lessons or a class online that costs maybe 10 times the phone she has. Like, then you ask somebody to give you money. Like, who does that?
Obviously, all those are concerns and all those things I think you have to compromise. But again, it's about you investing in yourself before. So thank you so much for that piece of advice. Now, what we're gonna do, I will allow Mohammed to play a short clip of you at work, right? Now,
Really?
yeah, we are surprising you on this. Now, you've mentioned the financing part, and you know that's very key in your business. So after this short clip, you will tell us how you gain or how do you sustain your business. So Mohammed, help us with the video. Okay, that's not the video.
I know, right? I know this thing will always come up.
Yeah,
These
annoying.
ads, they always come up.
Irritating, very irritating.
Yeah, marketing. It's marketing.
Yeah,
Anywhere you just see them.
obviously.
So and until it plays down before
Right,
you can do something.
right. We'll be patient.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I remember this video.
oh, you
Yeah.
do?
So this transformation, right? So that's my first logo I was using.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's different from the one you're using now.
Yeah. So like you have to improve. You have to like, yeah. So I'm using a different logo now. So these were like, I think I was just like 1 year old or 2 years in my business back then. Yeah.
Aw.
These are like 1 year. Yeah.
1 year.
year to 2
Okay.
years.
Okay.
Yeah, when I started, yeah.
Okay. So okay. I guess Mohammed, that should be fine. Yeah, that's
It's
fine.
okay.
Yeah. So take us through. I know it has not been an easy journey, and particularly another thing you have to compromise, because most of us young women in particular will be like, no, I can't. No, people like myself, we're scared. Oh, there will be snake. Or we're afraid of so many things. Others will tell you, no, I'm not going to get in there, perhaps for reasons they know best. So take us through the journey.
Okay, so when I started my business, but I was working and supporting my business.
Right.
So I was in Freetown, and my farm is in Bo, which is like 4 to 5 hour drive, maximum 5 hours to Bo. So I was working and supporting my business by then. So my business was really not making profits in that way, because it was just like creating awareness. So like my fish farming, so before I start fish farming, a lot of people are doing it at subsistence level, right? Okay. So for me, my dream is to do like a very, like to take it very professional business, right? Like a very professional business where you ensure that you maintain standard, you ensure that everything is in place. So for the first 1-2 years, it was like creating awareness, because even those people we are doing, they were like, in fact, people even though are aware. So when I started, it was like, what are you saying? Even my mother was like, you are doing fish farming, how do you farm it? You understand? My father was like, okay, you go to school and graduate and come, now you're saying you're doing fish farming. Like, who does that? Instead of you go for a job and have money, you are going to fish farming. So I did a lot of compromise in terms of like, one, I don't really buy expensive stuff. And up to now, I've used to that. Like for me, when I'm buying, because if you want to achieve that state of financial stability or financial freedom, you have to be, they call this frugal. That's what people call it. So you have to be very frugal with your money, meaning in the sense, you do not have to buy any shiny things you see, right? So for me, that's also another trait that is in me. Like I have some dress that I've taken a decade.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. So because I don't know, because I come from a home where my mother will only buy for us once in a year.
Yeah.
So like probably I carry that trait. So for me, I don't buy like on a normal basis, like I buy on a yearly basis. So I buy jeans maximum twice in a year. You understand? That's I buy jeans. So when I'm ready to buy, I will ensure the list I'll buy is 3, right? And when I'm buying as well, I make sure I buy the good quality that will last long, right? I've got a jean that is almost like 4 years to 5 years now. I still have them, right? So for me, I have to like ensure that I live frugal to take my business where is it, because like I was working to support my business, right? So before starting my business, I was not like this. So when I was working at the Ministry of Education, when I give my money, in fact, I have my tailor, like he knows that at the end of every month I'll go there and buy new wrappers and so clothes. So when I started doing business, I was like, now you're not coming to my shop every month to make new dress. I said, no, I have business, so I'm not doing anymore. So right, so moment I start doing business and the more exposure I get, I understand why people. So it's kind of very sad for me to see people that are up to 40 are still living in their parents' house, still depending on their parents. It make me like, guy, like it really pisses me off, right? You are above 30, 35, 40, still living in your mother house and you are dependent on them. That's for me, that's absurd, right?
Yeah.
So for me, the moment I start having this awareness, having this, building my capacity, I start to say that, okay, let me see what I'll do. So I have to compromise a lot. Yeah. So like, for me, I don't compete with anybody. I compete with myself.
Beautiful.
So I don't care the phone you have. I don't care the dress you put on. I don't care the shoe you have. I don't care the bag you have, right? For me, as long as I am able to take care of myself with what I have at the moment, I'm okay. Right. So I'm not in competition with anybody, even up till now. Even though people think I have money, so like people are telling me, why don't you buy a car? Outside of like, yeah, it's not like I can't have money to buy a car, but like buying a car is a liability to me, right? I can't buy a car. I say if somebody gives me a car, then probably I have to like ensure that it kind of brings some income, right? So the one mentality about money that young people think about money is a mindset about money. Money is not an end to a mean. It's a tool that you should leverage on and live your life, right? So most people don't really understand by money, and that's lacking in Africa. We are not taught about money. Right. So for me, I do a lot of self-taught and I'm still work in progress. I do that a lot because for me, I want to get like 10 years from now, I want to be financially stable. Yeah. Like I've been in a position where I can't even afford $1. Like that day, I was like, you know what, like I will never be in this situation in my life, right? And that was the time I was doing my business, right? I was sick. I went to a drugstore to pick up a drugs, but the money I calculated was not enough. So it's short at the pharmacy. So a lady watched me in my eyes, like, I can't give you, like the money is not complete. Like that day, I cried like a baby. I was like, wow. So I have to like walk in. I met somebody and the person gave me the money. I come back and buy the drug. So I don't want to be in that situation, right? I don't want anybody to be in that situation, but you should challenge yourself. Like, I don't want to be in that situation. So for me, it's to be financially stable and then definitely to become a millionaire. So for me, I'm enjoying on myself, right? So yeah, sure. Everybody knows that, like everybody around me, I told them, like, for me, I want to be a millionaire. Yeah. Just I find myself, if I'm in any country that have system and everything, trust me, I should have good, because people that know me know that I sacrifice so much to build my business where is it, right? And I don't want to build it for myself. So now I'm building with people. So before that, I was like, okay, let me do 1, 2 people. So now I'm thinking building with people, right? So if you want to grow, you have to be system, you have to be with people so that with or without you, your business can run. So when it comes to finances, it's a self-taught journey, right? And you have to be very, very intentional and deliberate about it, right? So my mother knows me. They know me. Like, if you want to ask me for money, you can't just tell me today and expect me to give it tomorrow. You don't work that way.
Right.
So at least tell me a week or a month ahead. I always tell them, so my business and me are 2 different entities. I tell people that. Even if you see on news, on the media, like I want how many billion is for my business, not for me.
Right.
So you don't expect me to dish out the money to you.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So people have to be, when it comes to finances, the first thing first is discipline.
Right.
If you're not disciplined, in fact, discipline conquer everything. It's discipline, in fact, it was discipline that made me to wake up to come and sit. Else I'll be sleeping.
Obviously.
I'll be like, because I do my household chores over the weekend, I cook,
Right.
and one thing, but when I'm full, the next thing I want to sleep. So
Right.
I just ate lunch. Like for me, moment I'm full, I want to sleep. So you have to, discipline is really important.
Obviously, it is.
So if those that are watching, if you don't take anything out of this conversation, be disciplined. When you are disciplined, people will think like you are stubborn, you are proud, but like be disciplined and be friendly, right? So for me, if people ask me for stuff, I was like, you know what, I'm sorry, I can do it.
Right.
I will not insult you or not. I was like, okay, you know what, I'm sorry, I can't do this right now.
Right.
Maybe next time I can, right? Because in Africa, and Salon to be specific, people feel entitled, like is by force you should give them. I don't like, that's the one thing that I always tell people, you're not entitled to anything.
Right.
Nobody owes you anything. Anything you want, find it for yourself, right? So you have to be very disciplined. And yeah, you don't need to be rude. If somebody, so many people know me, like people wants to book my time, they know, like people that like, in fact, me, everybody knows that.
Right.
Everybody around me, because I tell them, I plan my week. From Sunday, I plan my week. So you just don't come and say like, okay, can you come here? Like it happens so many times. I had programs in Freetown. They'll send me email on Monday. Can you come Tuesday? I was like, guy, sorry, I can't do that.
Yeah.
So at times you just have to be disciplined and know what you want. Because the other thing entrepreneurs do, they want to attend all the programs. Business, you need to put your head down and work on it. Trust me, not the social media posts, not the conferences, not the workshop. It can't work.
Obviously.
So most of us, we want to attend all the workshop. Yeah, I understand where you start, you feel like that is okay. For me now, people like now I tell people, I don't want the fame, I want the money. I don't want the fame, I want the money.
Obviously.
Yeah. So no, when you start the 1-2 years, you feel like you have to go to all this workshop. For me, any workshop that does not end to give me money, I would say no, let me focus on my business. And especially now I'm working like to set goals for my business. What are the goals I have to hit? Like when I watch my calendar in June, I see like I've lagged behind. So like going towards the next 5 months of the year, like I have so much to do.
Yeah. Obviously.
So for me, yeah, it's just discipline. Discipline can everything. Discipline yourself to like, I want to learn a skill. I want to read the book, right? I want to do this. Discipline, I can't be with my phone. So for me, when I really, really want to do my work, I put my phone down.
Right.
I put my phone down. So everybody around me knows that my phone will never ring. So my staff and everybody knows that if they call me, I don't pick, that means I'm not with my phone. So they definitely know that Madam is not with her phone. My mother will know that I'm not with my phone. So when I call, I see your call, I'll call you. So I discipline, because so many distractions out there. So discipline for me is everything. Because if you discipline yourself, it helps you to achieve so many things. Because this is self-taught so much in the media right now. So for me, I encourage people, just be disciplined yourself. Like, this is what I want to learn. This is how I want to grow. And don't just acquire the information, put them into practice.
Obviously.
So before then, they were saying knowledge is power, but now knowledge is not power until it's being implemented.
Right. Obviously. Thank you so much. That's very good advice. And I'm sure any young person who is watching and wish to be where you are would definitely heed to those advice. Now, due to time, on a final note, what would you, let's say, what plans do you have for other young people who perhaps are looking up to you, particularly women, to say? Because I'm sure we seldom have women engaged in such businesses, but sum it up, what do you have for young African, if you like, Sierra Leonean, if you like, Gambian young people?
So for me, I'm looking at having like okay, for women. So I work with women. So that's my organization, Women in Action Against Malnutrition. So I work with women, right? So for me, women has been through a lot, but again, for me, like, I'm not a feminist, because for me, people have put so much premium on women, and women, we are not really up to the game. So for me, I want women to really push, because I tell people the slightest leap you make, you have so much opportunity out there, right? So for now, I'm not really directly mentoring people, but like I try to like encourage young people a lot, especially women. I try to encourage women, like whenever I'm available, I'll share information with people. I talk to people and stuff like that. So I kind of help young people. So for me, I have a lot of, like I work with women in my business, in my nonprofit. So like the key people in leadership in my business are women. My admin is a woman. My farm manager is a woman. So like I really empower women a lot. So I want more women to come into the fish farming or do anything, because fish farming in Sierra Leone now, I tell people is a new industry. So it has a lot of challenge. So for me, I work with women, and I want women to ensure that they're able to achieve their goal. Maybe in the long run, I'm looking of having like my company is having a fish academy. That's what I want to have, like a fish academy where you can learn different things and more maybe focus on women. But for now, like I don't have specific for women, like I want to do in my business, but I support women. I work with women groups, right? So like I always advocate for women. So that's why, in fact, why I created my organization, to work with women, right? But I don't have specific like this what I want to do for women in terms of in my fish farming business. But like I'm always out there to support women that are doing well, right? If as long as you are trying to make ends meet, I will encourage you. I will talk to you. I will share opportunities with you whenever I stumble upon it. Then if you're serious, I'm always looking for people to work with. So yeah, my business is small, but like as we grow, we look for more women to work with, because as a business, you can't employ everybody. So for me, I want to encourage women out there. There's so much opportunity. Like women are giving premium. Let's take advantage of it.
Obviously.
I tell people, like what I'm doing now, like it's kind of, if I go places, I speak as a woman, like I get so much attention, because the thing like is a very unreal for women to do that. So just find a space and be unique in what you do and put in the work. Like there is no two way about it. You have to put in the work.
Obviously, that's really great. Now, perhaps you may want to share your contacts. You may want to share, of course, further info of anybody who wants to get to you, perhaps to patronize your business, and also anything that you may want to add that perhaps I didn't ask. You're welcome to say.
Okay, fine. So first of all, you can get us across all social media. Agrofish Farm SL Sierra Leone. Our website is www.agrofishfarms. You have the farm.com. www.agrofishfarms.com, right? So our Facebook page is Agrofish Farm SL Limited. That's our Facebook page. The same thing with LinkedIn, Agrofish Farm SL Limited. The same with Instagram as well, right? And you can reach me on LinkedIn as well. Just check Aminata F. Kandeh on LinkedIn. You can get us there as well. And follow us on our Facebook, because we do a lot of stuff on our Facebook page. Like we have back-to-back activities for on our Facebook page. And I'm open to collaboration to anybody that thinks like he wants to work with me outside Sierra Leone, because somebody was talking to me from Gambia. So I'm open up to collaboration to work with anybody that wants to develop fish farming in their country, or maybe wants to like work with women. I'm open up to collaboration. So you can just like send us message on this, or maybe our email, which is agrofishfarm2017@gmail.com.
Okay, agrofishfarm2017@gmail.com.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Sarah. I have a friend with that name. I think she too is from Gambia. She's a lawyer as well. Yeah, I met her 2017 in Ghana. Yeah, a lot of friends. I have maybe you might know this guy. His name is Idris. Idris, he worked with the government. He's into drone stuff. Like he's really doing well. He worked with the government state office. Like I have a lot of Gambia friends as well there. Right.
Okay.
Thank you, Sarah.
I'll try to check for this, Idris. You most welcome, Aminata.
No, check for Idris. Idris is doing well. He work with the government in terms of data and drone and stuff like that. But definitely just send me. I will send his contact on Facebook. Then you can follow. He's from Gambia. He work with the government office in Gambia.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah,
I will definitely do that. Thank you.
Definitely,
so much.
I will share his contact with you. He's really doing well in Gambia. Like he's really moving and trying his best, trying to improve stuff, especially when it comes to data and drone. Like he's a drone expert. Anyway, by the way, sure. Okay, thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much for your time. We definitely can do this together. We can plan it, and probably we can do this together. I wish you good luck with whatever you're doing, and probably you have a podcast. then we can follow you there.
Obviously. Well, really
Yeah,
happy
I
and
know. So I want to encourage you as well. I know it's not easy taking your time doing this. So when you reflect back, so now when I see my pictures like 5 years ago, I was like, oh yeah, I've come a long way. So now
yeah,
you are doing this, it
obviously.
might seem like very hard and stuff like that. But I just want to encourage you, keep
Yeah,
going,
yeah,
right? Keep improving,
yeah,
right? I know it's
yeah,
not easy putting all this together. You don't have a studio. I
yeah,
know, I
yeah,
understand. But
yeah,
keep doing it
yeah.
because consistency is the key.
Right, obviously,
So
obviously.
consistent is the key. So now you are starting like this. Maybe the next 5 years you are your podcast.
Oh yes.
Who knows?
Yeah. And then you become a millionaire or a billionaire and I'll have you again. I'm like, okay,
Definitely,
thank you so much, Aminata. It was a
definitely.
pleasure. It was
Thank
a
you so
pleasure.
much. I
Generation
appreciate
Next
you
is
so
happy.
much. I wish you all the best. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
You too as well.
Yeah,
Yes, there
yeah,
viewers, there we've seen it. That was Aminata, of course, the CEO of Agrofish Farmer back in Sierra Leone. And obviously, she
yeah.
said her contact. Please, let's reach out, support one another together. The world is a better place. On that note, it's a ciao from the entire Generation Next team. And of course, thank you so much, Mohammed. Yeah, behind the
Yeah,
scenes.
Mama, thank you for setting up.
Yeah, yeah. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Sarah.
Thank you for setting up. Okay, then. Cheers.
Yeah.
Take care.
Okay, bye. Have a nice
Bye.
evening.
You too.
Yeah.
Bye.